Hello, I'm Nobby Clark, welcome to my workshop. Recently a very interesting tool has come my way, which I'd like to share with you, and also if anyone out there recognises this tool, because I've got no idea who actually made it. There's no name on it anywhere. But I'm going to bring the camera in a bit closer so you can see it in slightly better detail. So bear with me just for a moment. Well, to say it's obviously an indexing tool, and it's threaded at the front to take a standard Myford chuck. It on the back it has two indexing wheels. Screw here can be removed. Very long thread. Very long thread. And these wheels can be removed. One of them has 24 little indexing marks, and this one has 20. So between the two of these you can divide this to a huge number of different indexing positions. The bottom of this part here has I suppose you would call this a plunger with a flat end, almost like a screwdriver end, which will index into any of these slots. There's also a locking device, so once the chuck's mounted on it and you've turned it to a particular position and locked it in place, that can then lock the device into position. So I've looked all over this and I can't find any maker's name on it anywhere. It does seem very, very well made, so whether this is a commercially made item or a shop built item, I've absolutely no idea. It has two holes in it here. I'm assuming these would be used to clamp it down to the bed of a milling machine. For my milling machine, this is small enough to use it on there. Only the screw at the back here, the middle one, will line up with the middle T-slot on the milling machine table. This one doesn't, so this possibly could have been made for a particular milling machine where that gives you the correct spacing. So I guess it could be mounted using the rear hole, and then perhaps clamped in position in some way to hold it down. There are also two threaded holes on the base here as well. I checked to see what the threads are. These are actually 0BA, so that's an oldish size thread to use. A lot of machines like my Myford lathe uses Whitworth threads. A lot of the threads on it are BSF threads, Whitworth Fine and BA. So on sort of older machinery to use Whitworth and BA threads is quite common, obviously. It's been painted in the finish is like hammerite, like it's like the hammerite paint, but it is very, very nicely made indeed. These wheels literally, they're not keyed in any way, they just push on the back, and you need to use both of them. If you mount one in, you need the other one to hold that in place, to take up the difference in the thread here, this sort of shoulder on the thread. So both of these need to be used to lock them in position. The threads on here are beautifully cut, beautifully finished, and on the back here as well. Very nice locking knob with nice knurling on it. So this, I'm sure I'm going to find a use for this. Things like the big big indexing heads that you can get are, for my milling machine, too big and heavy to use on it. But this, although it is very, very heavy, would be fine. The only problem I found with it is that let me struggle to get the chuck on these. I'll show you what I feel one problem could be. If I put the chuck on, there's only under here, which you're not going to be able to see this, but if I lift it up, there's only a very, very small gap between the base here and the bottom of the chuck itself, so that you're going to be limited on jaw opening on this. If you open the jaws out too far, of course this end of the jaw will hit the bed of the milling machine. My only thought was, because these holes aren't going to line up completely with the T-slots on the milling machine, is perhaps to find a fairly thick piece of steel and make an additional base for it, that this can be bolted to, which would then raise the chuck up higher to give the jaws a bit more room to be wound out. And then if I had a base which was slightly longer, hopefully it would leave room to put holes in the correct positions for my mill table. That's one sort of possible thought. I think it's such a beautiful looking thing. I mean, I've never seen one like this before. I've tried to check around, but I can't come up with any manufacturer for it. If this is shop built, it's been very, very well thought out. Along the lines of this, something that I have been looking for second hand for quite a long time, although they never seem to crop up, is a spin indexer. My reasoning there is that spin indexers are probably not that much bigger than this. The advantage with a spin indexer is that it takes onto the nose of the device here, takes 5C collets, and with a spin indexer there's an adapter available that fits the front of them to convert it to ER32 collet size, which would be really useful. Now I think if this was something that I'd built, I'd probably, let me take the chuck off again just to show you. Let's lock that on. I think if I'd have made this like the nose of the Myford lathe, it has a taper here, which is Morse taper 2. Now if that had been, I don't know what is behind this here, if that had been made as a Morse taper 2, then lots of other things could be dropped into this position. Now I know that there is available an adapter that goes on to the Myford thread, which converts, I think there's one available that converts it to an ER32 collet, and I think there's another one available which I've seen recently, quite a small one, that converts it to, I think it's ER25. So that again I think is an option, but the problem is that with either of those, as there's no through hole in here, you're limited to the length of material you can put in. The same as with the chuck, there's a sort of a limit to the length of material that will actually go through here, and a sort of diameter rather of material. So that could have been perhaps slightly better thought out, but I don't really know what this would have been designed for. Maybe this was purely to take possibly a mandrel for simple gear cutting, possibly. I think lots of possibilities for this, you know. I mean, I've only had this a short while to sort of play around with, really, to try and work out what I can actually do with it. But I mean, even if it's simply used to put material in here to cut 4-sided or 6-sided flats on a piece of material, it would be very useful for that job. A bit unlikely that I'm going to be cutting gears, so that's probably not something that it would be used for, but I think there would be lots of other uses for this on the milling table. But if anyone has any thoughts on this, or seen one of these before, and can give me any information on it, I'd be sort of very grateful. Quite pleased to hear. But I'm sort of quite pleased to have this. I was there was another option of perhaps using a slightly smaller chuck on the front of this. I do have a smaller diameter chuck that I use on the Myford lathe, but that's mounted on a back plate about the same size as this, so they're actually slightly larger than this, I think, so that won't easily fit on unless I have some means of sort of raising the height of this up. I guess it could be, if I could find a way of clamping it down, I suppose this could be mounted on the top of a couple of heavy parallels and then clamped down. That's, I guess, is another possibility. But I think, I'm going to find it quite a useful thing. I think I mentioned before using my rotary table on the milling machine. It only really works when the rotary table is laid flat onto the milling table. It works fine because the little slots on the milling table at each end line up with the middle T-slot of the table. But if I want to use it vertically, I can't line the holes up, and I have to use another plate on top of the milling machine and then bolt the rotary table to it, which I guess I possibly could do the same with this. Maybe that would be an option, sort of drilling holes on the outside, fixing it to a plate. But if anyone has any ideas there, I'll be sort of quite pleased to hear from anyone that could give me some guidance on this. But as I say, just looking at it in detail, it's really nicely made. Under the paint here you can see some machining marks where they've cut this angle, so that's been cut with an end mill. But all of these wheels these indexing wheels are really beautifully machined. Certainly well beyond my capability of making anything like this. They're absolutely wonderful. And I'd mentioned in the past possibly getting a spin indexer, and the chap on one of the other channels said that because they have means of adding additional indexing devices onto them, and he actually said if you get one and want any other indexing plates made, I can make them for you, possibly sort of 3D printed. I think that was the idea. But there we are. I think that's you know, a wonderful piece of kit, really. Does have a screw thread in here as well. I've really no idea what that's for. I haven't checked to see what the thread of that is. I think that's slightly smaller than 0 BA, but that could quite equally be a BA thread on that as well. Anyway, thanks for joining me in the workshop. I hope you like seeing this. It's a novelty to me, really, but I think somebody had obviously heard me say that I was looking for the spin index, and well, this is sort of fairly near to it, and I'm sure that if I can get this set up nicely on the milling table, it will do, I reckon, most of the things that I would want it to do. Basically, in fact, I sat down the other evening just with a notepad and to see how many different combinations you can divide into 24 and 20, you know, and it's quite endless, really. There's only a few numbers that can't be divided in, and probably divisions that you may not want to use anyway, rather odd numbers, but there we are. Anyway, again, thanks for joining me. Thanks again to all the subscribers to the channel, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, you know, please do. And please send me a comment, not necessarily on this. I get quite a few comments on a lot of the videos that I put out, that tend mostly to be from the same people every time, gradually hearing from a few new people, but it's lovely to be able to make contact with people through the comments section as well, you know, passing on their ideas and experiences to me as well. Anyway, I shall leave it at that, and see you very, very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye for now.